Hello, music makers, artists, musicians, singers, rappers, DJs, producers, and songwriters. Welcome to Levels. In this short video, I'm going to introduce you to my new system that will help you make loud and clear mixes at home without having to buy any new expensive gear or software. Let me guess. People don't react to your songs and mixes in the way you wished they would. Maybe it's because the vocals aren't loud enough, the bass isn't loud enough, the kick isn't loud enough, the snare isn't loud enough, nothing's loud enough. The mix just doesn't slap. There's no boom, or there's too much boom. People say your mixes sound unprofessional or too muddy, or they say, I can't hear the lyrics. Or you yourself have been noticing that your mixes just aren't loud enough compared to other songs. Your heart drops when you hear your song on a playlist and it just doesn't sound pro after all the hours you spent mixing it. It sounds weak, muddy, and lifeless. How do I know all this? Because I've been there. Oh yeah, I've been there. I used to spend hours and hours in my studio mixing songs that sounded amazing, only to take them out to my car and find out that the guitars were gone, or I couldn't hear the snare, or the bass was rattling the car doors and not in a good way. By the way, I'm Futch, I'm the founder of Levels, and for the last 29 years, I've helped over 1,500 singers, songwriters, musicians, beat makers, and music producers of all kinds write, record, edit, and mix better music at home by teaching them the timeless fundamentals of music production. How can that be true, Futch? You don't look a day over 29 yourself. Awkward pause. Don't read that part out loud. My students have gone on to be successful as artists, songwriters, musicians, audio engineers, sound editors, mixers, DJs, and music producers in all styles of music using the same skills, secrets, and system that I'm making available to you now in the form of my new live online course focused on mixing better music at home with your digital audio workstation, or DAW. I also make dub techno electronic music under the name Dystopian Soundscapes, so not only have I taught other people to use my approach to mixing, but I also use it myself. My mixing system is now available as this new live online course called Balance Part 1, Mixing and DAW, for beginners to intermediate level music makers and music producers. What I'm going to show you today is an overview of what you'll find inside the course. I'm known for being able to break down complicated concepts and terms into simple, memorable, and fun ways to explore music production. I've taken everything I've learned about mixing in the last 3 decades and condense it down into 9 easy-to-follow lessons. These are fundamental principles and techniques for sound and mixing that have been around forever, and I can teach all of them to you quickly and easily. This is for creative people that don't want to get bogged down by too much technical information. Are you ready? Okay, here's what you'll learn during each of the 9 live online Zoom classes and on-demand video courses. By the way, I teach this course using Ableton Live Suite on a Mac, and I'd recommend that you use that or the 90-day free trial of Ableton Live while you take this course for the most effective learning. But I've designed it so you can apply these skills and techniques to any DAW or even an analog recording studio. Module 1, Intro to DAW. Myth: digital audio workstations are too complicated to learn. I don't even know where to start. False. I'll show you how a DAW is actually just a software replica of the gear you'd find in an analog recording studio, and you can apply what you've learned in this course anywhere, now and even in the future. I start with a DAW overview, and then I'll show you how to save and back up your songs and import and export audio files. Module 2, Intro to Sound. Myth: the physics, electronics, and acoustics involved in sound theory is way too difficult to understand or apply to my tracks. False. If you can understand Nikola Tesla's famous quote, "You want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration," then you can understand how to measure those vibrations and apply it to your tracks and mixes. I'll show you how important polarity and phase are to your kicks and snares, and why it's difficult to hear bass in a 10-foot square room. I'll break down each part of the energy, frequency, and vibration that you'll need to understand to measure each part. Module 3, Intro to Mixing. Myth: my expensive speakers allow me to perfectly hear my mix accurately. False. Not only are those speakers lying to you, but so are your headphones and especially the home studio room you're mixing in. I'll show you how to identify the main culprits in your home studio that cause you to hear things differently than they really are. You can handle the truth. We'll take a look at how to maximize the efficiency of your monitoring setup and focus on the basics of mixing using only balance and panorama. Module 4, Intro to Series Processing. Myth: EQ is too confusing, but not even half as confusing as compression. False. Let's divide the total range of human hearing into a few color-coded frequency bands so we can easily isolate problem areas and find some areas we need to boost up. I'll even show you a magic EQ curve that works on everything. Everything? Everything. 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 That's not EQ, that's reverb. Your reverb. Everything. Everything. Compressors are a lot easier to use if you start with a fast release time. If you don't, then yeah, it's a nightmare. So let's start with some more magic compressor settings to set you off on the right foot. I'll also show you the other 4 types of dynamic processors and how and why we usually patch them in series on individual tracks. Module 5, Intro to Parallel Processing, myth. If I want reverb or delay on my vocals, I simply drag a plugin onto the vocal track. False. Well, you can do it that way, but I'll show you why it's better to send reverb and delay from parallel channel aux sends and then return them on their own channels. I'll show you more magic settings. There's a lot of magic in this course. This time for delay and reverb. Nothing says, I just learned how to mix, then screaming amounts of treble on reverb and delay returns. I'll show you how to make dark plates and tape slaps make the vocals sound 3D and amazing. Module 6, Intro to Group Processing. Myth. Each instrument track needs its own processing. True, that is true. Kicks and snares need their own EQ and dynamics to create their sonic identity. And it also sounds great when you slam all the drums or even the whole mix through a warm compressor that glues everything together as a group. I'll show you how to divide your tracks into groups, process them, and then export those groups as remix stems. Module 7, Intro to Dynamics. Myth. The mix has to be as loud as possible the whole time. False. Without darkness, there can be no light, and without quiet, there can be no loud. You need to provide dynamic contrast in the song's arrangement, the volume level of each instrument part, and the overall output level of the mix. I'll show you how to control the peaks of your signal, maximize the voltage, and manage your low end for maximum efficiency and clean bass. Module 8, Intro to Automation. Myth. Once the mix is balanced, it's done. False. Look, I love a great static mix as much as anyone. There's an art to balancing and panning the levels so that you can hear everything in the mix. What we're talking about here is providing some motion to the tracks. Riding the vocal fader until you can hear every word on a broken Walmart parking lot speaker is the goal here. Weird flex, but okay. You can automate any button, knob, and fader in your DAW and make the mix come alive with motion over time. Module 9, Intro to Mastering. Myth. Mastering is the dark arts and impossible for us mere mortals to understand. False. Mastering is about quality control. It's about making sure your mix is free of noises, pops, and clicks, and sounds great on every set of speakers or devices it's played back on. From the phone to the laptop to the car to the club, it's got to sound great everywhere. Mastering is also your last chance to remove or add any processing that's still needed and decide on the final loudness level of the mix. After each module, there will be a quiz reviewing what you've learned, an assignment that tests your ability to demonstrate what you've learned using practice audio sessions, song analysis where you listen to select songs and answer questions about the mix, instruments, and effects you hear, ear training tests, and an opportunity to post your questions and mixes in the community for feedback from your peers and from me, your instructor. So if you're a beginner to intermediate music producer or artist who's making music and getting serious about wanting your mixes to sound great without having to spend thousands of dollars and months of your time taking a full-time course, if you're tired of going down the YouTube rabbit hole with no direction, taking video-only online courses with no accountability and no community to give you feedback or answer your questions, if you're looking for a sonic sensei and you're thinking, this Futch guy seems handsome, sorry, that should say knowledgeable, not handsome, knowledgeable. So if you're looking for a sonic sensei and you're thinking this Futch guy seems knowledgeable, then apply to take my live online mixing course now. Once we get enough people and decide on the times and days of the week that everyone's available, we can get started. And after just 9 classes, you'll be ready to make mixes that make people move and get the reaction you want. Okay, let's answer some fake questions. Objection number 1, can't I just learn all of this stuff for free on YouTube? That's sent in by Maybe. Absolutely. You can, but who's going to provide the roadmap for you? There's literally everything on YouTube, 500 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute. By the time you found the information you want, somebody has already made a better video about it. I'm not playing that game at all. I'm moving in the opposite direction. Instead of telling you how people are mixing today, I've designed my course to teach you the same fundamentals that have been around for over 60 years of multi-track recording and mixing, adapted for today's modern mixing style. Objection number 2, I need something more serious. I'm gonna go to recording school instead. Sent in by Richie Rich from Moneytown, Pennsylvania. Once again, we're reading fake questions. Go for it. I love recording schools. I went to recording school myself when I was 17. I've even taught at 5 different recording schools. I love them. There are 2 main issues to consider. 1, recording schools are usually pretty expensive, and 2, it takes a long time to go through the whole course, usually about a year. The other thing to consider is that you might not personally need all of the information that's taught during the course. I offer a recording school quality course focused on only the fundamental topics you need to learn right now and for much less commitment of money and time. Objection number 3, I don't use Ableton Live, sent in by FL Gang. You can use any DAW you want. Even though I teach using Ableton Live on a Mac, I try to keep everything non-DAW specific. Ableton has a free 90-day trial that you can download of their full version of Suite, and they even reset it a couple of years ago, so if you used it back in the day, it should work for you again. This way you can follow along in Ableton Live and then transfer what you know into your DAW of choice. FL Gang. Objection number 4, online courses suck, sent in by Negative Nancy. I totally agree, Negative Nancy. They're boring, they offer no accountability, they're a one-way street, there's no way to ask questions if you get stuck. Have you ever bought an online course and then never actually taken it? I've done that a couple times in the last few years. You get amped up like you are now, you convince yourself that all I need is this one piece of the puzzle. You get your money together, you buy the course, and then never think about it again. That's the worst. It's so weird, right? So let's agree not to do that. Let's not do that. This course is 9 live online Zoom classes where you can ask me questions. I give you assignments, quizzes, ear training, and song analysis homework, and I provide a community of users to give feedback and get feedback about your mixes. Way cooler than a static one-way online course. This course isn't right for you. Don't take it. No pressure. It's not free. It's not $100. It's an investment. I only want you to do this if it's perfect for you and where you are right now. If you need a guide to show you the fundamentals of how to mix music in your DAW, if you want to actually do the work and be held accountable for finishing this course, if you want to hear noticeable improvements in the sound of your songs after 9 live online Zoom classes, if you're a beginner, if you're new to mixing, or if you want to go back to the basics and learn the fundamentals you skipped over the first time, this is for you. What you'll get: 9 live online Zoom classes. Each class is about 2.5 hours long. They'll be scheduled to match the date and time availability of your cohort group. 9 on-demand video recordings of each module for review. You'll always have access to these videos for reference. 9 module PDF reference guides. 9 assignments to practice what you've learned after each module. Quizzes and self-assessments after each module to test your understanding of the concepts. A growing community of members to exchange feedback, ask questions, and collaborate with. And educational discounts on select plugins and hardware from Levels partners for successful quiz results. So if you get over 80%, you passed. And you can take it as many times as you want. 100% money back guarantee. So just contact me, contact support, and let me know if you want a refund before class 5 starts. And in that case, you would lose access to everything. I think that's pretty fair. 100% money back guarantee, 4 classes. I'm so confident that you'll love the other classes that if you don't, I'll give you your money back. Pretty good deal. Any questions? This is a video. There's no question. You can't ask me questions. I already asked fake questions. Those are the fake questions that I thought you'd ask me. Those are the real questions that I thought you'd ask me in the form of fake questions. Click the link below to find out more about this course. And I'm going to put something from the course up. I haven't decided yet, but I'll probably put like 1 hour of it for free so you can look at that next if you're really interested. That'd be a good next move. Thanks for listening to this short, long video. Okay, peace.
This has been fantastic. I've been writing out a whole plan of where I'm going from here, and I think that's a great move. Like, I got the foundation set up, so just taking what I've learned here, I'm probably going to be reading all my notes and going through all the courses one more time, but I cannot thank you enough for this.
That's so great.
It's like, this is my first proper structured learning course when it comes to music production, and I couldn't have asked for a better teacher. Like, even just the first conversation in that first initial Zoom call meeting, where we just chit-chatted a little bit about what the goal was, and I'm looking forward to the next course. I'm excited for that singer-songwriters, and can't wait to hear back.
That's so awesome. Is it okay if I use that as a promo item, what you just said?
Absolutely.
That's the best kind.